Hello and welcome to the FatBoss Guide to Protectors of the Endless 25-man normal in the Terrace of the Endless Springs.
Hello!
And this encounter is good. It's a council boss, much like the Iron Council from Uldra. It's a very decent fight.
It is, it's very good. And we're going to go straight into it. So you want to bring 2 tanks, 5 to 6 healers, and a mixed DPS makeup. Very standard. Just any really setup you want. It's very simple.
And because it is a council boss, that means you can kill the bosses in any particular order you want. And there is 3 bosses in this encounter. And as each boss dies, the other bosses become stronger. They gain a 25% damage increase, and they also gain new abilities, and they will heal to full. So although there is 3 bosses, bringing like cleave or multi-dotting DPS is pointless because the bosses just heal to full as soon as one of the bosses do actually die.
Now, you can kill these bosses in any order, really, but the order that we're going to be covering, arguably the best order, is Elder Regale, Elder Asani, and Protector Koalan. Now we're going to go through each one of the boss's individual abilities, and we're going to be starting off with Regale.
Now Regale will spam a lightning bolt on the tank, and this is completely interruptible, so it's important that you assign people to interrupt this. 2 interrupters should be more than enough, 3 if you really think that you'll struggle. And he'll also place a debuff on people called Lightning Prison, and this will be a debuff that's placed on 5 targets that will stun them, and it will also do pulsing AoE within 7 yards of those people. So if you do get this debuff, you want to move out very, very quickly, and you want to dispel these people. As simple as that.
Now Asani has a move called Water Bolt, and basically just spams this. It's a 3-yard splash damage on a random target. You just want to make sure that you're spread out for 3 yards and you interrupt it as much as possible. So throw some interrupt DPS on that as well, and you won't have any issues. Also, she does something called Cleansing Waters. Now what she does is that she'll spawn a globe above the boss, and when it lands, it makes a puddle underneath them that will heal the boss it's under and give them a buff that increases their healing they take for 30 seconds. Now what you want to do is that you want to dispel the boss just as the globe hits the ground, because this will remove the buff from them, and if you do it quickly enough, the healing won't go out because you dispel it before the first tick of that heal goes through. So you can also move the boss if you're not very comfortable, if you can't dispel it quick enough, but this way it means that you don't have to do any boss movement, because that boss is a bit of a pain in the ass to move. So just it's just as simple to dispel it, but you can do either way.
And Protector Kolan, he doesn't really do anything apart from he just applies debuffs to people. It's just a dot, however it lasts for the whole encounter. It does a very small amount of damage, but yeah, it's nothing really to worry about, and there's nothing you could do about it apart from heal it. So
during this first bit, what you want to have is Regale being tanked by 1 tank, and Asani and Protector Koala Man, and to be tanked by the other tank, and you just want all your DPS to be just killing Regale as much as you possibly can, while interrupting the lightning bolts as much as you can, moving out of those lightning prison things, and also interrupting the water bolts, and of course dispelling the cleansing waters. That's all you really have to do in this phase, well, if you want to call it a phase. Once you kill Regale, you'll be left with Asani and Protector Koalan, and they will then gain a 25% damage increase, and as well as gaining a new move each.
Now Asani will gain something called Corrupted Waters, and this will spawn a globe in the middle of the room that buffs the bosses with casting and melee hastes, and it's important that you kill this quickly because it is quite a significant buff. Once you have killed the globe, anyone within 15 yards of it will gain a 25% melee and casting haste buff for 20 seconds. So it's important that when you do kill this globe, that you are very, very near it. Just make sure you get the buff, and then you can go back to killing whatever you was killing.
Now, Protector Koalan, instead of just doing that ticking damage on the raid, he now does something called Defiled Ground. Now, he'll place a small void zone under the tank that deals a fairly high amount of damage, and these little void zones are permanent. They'll last throughout the entire fight, and basically what you need to do, you just need to move out of it very, very quickly. You also gain a debuff that increases the damage that you take from these Defiled Ground void zones by 10% for 90 seconds, and this also stacks. So what you might want to have to do is you might need to tank swap if your stacks are getting too high, because it is hard to avoid these. And however, as it is permanent, you also want to now bring the Koala Man out to the side of the room, and you want to be kiting him around the edge, so of course you haven't got all these void zones if you want to move for other mechanics. So basically kite him around the outside of the edge, and then just nuke the shit out of Asani by killing her globes, dispelling the globe that's coming down, and of course interrupting her as much as you possibly can. Of course you haven't got any of Regale's moves because he's dead now, so you don't have to worry about the prisons anymore, and you don't have to worry about his lightning bolts on the tank.
Now once Asani has been killed, you'll only have the Protector guy on his own, and he'll now have a 50% damage increase, and he'll gain another ability, and the new ability is called Expel Corruption, and this will spawn a massive circle that does huge damage if anyone is stood inside it, and the nearer you are to the middle of it, the more damage you'll take. So when it is cast, you need to make sure that you just run the fuck away from the boss. He'll always spawn it right underneath him, So it's very, very obvious. It's got a very obvious animation. You just need to make sure that you move out of it and move away as soon as you possibly can. Now, because the circle is so large, you need to make sure that you continue to tank the boss on the outside the room, so that all the circles that do spawn, they're not in the middle of the raid, they're not in the middle of the room, and it does, you know, it leaves you far more room in the encounter area to play with the boss.
Yeah, and if you do manage to get around the whole outside of the room and the boss is still up and he's still spawning these circles, he's very, very likely to be nearly dead anyway, so you can just come in a bit closer and then make a smaller circle. But if you run out of space, then you don't have enough damage, really. This shouldn't be too much of an issue.
Now, while this is going on, he will still do defiled ground, so you still might need to do a tank swap, and he will still be placing those dots on all the people in the raid. And because he has got a 50% damage increase, all of his abilities are hitting a lot harder, and there is quite a lot of AoE healing on the raid. However, you can just stack at this point. If you're not melee, obviously, you can just stack, providing you still have range. So that's something you would want to do.
So that's pretty much it, to be honest. As long as you can just kill the bosses in the right order, and their mechanics are very, very simple. It's either interrupt or move. It's a nice and simple fight, a nice easy fight to start the instance with. So yeah, it shouldn't take you too long to get this boss down.
So thanks for watching. If this guide did help you out, then please do drop us a like. It helps out a lot. And make sure to comment, rate, and subscribe.
And if you'd like to see any of our other 25-man normal guides here by FatBoss, then please do click up on the screen now, and it will take you right over to those videos.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you.